Hey, so this is pretty much my first time doing something like this. So Five Nights at Freddy's is a pretty good start for a movie review from me. So we can technically say that this is the Nerdy Florida Man reviews. Well, I don't have a full on name yet. I'll finalize it when I figure it out. Feel free to leave me ideas in the comments for in case if I don't. So, yeah. Anyways, my opinions on the movie, first thing I do want to say is that it had is that the kills were fun to watch, and it does have its fair share of wholesome and terrifying scenes, which honestly they were both pretty fun to watch. Everybody in the theater awed and laughed at some point, and there were some moments that we've had, of course, and there were two YouTuber cameos, but I'm not gonna say what the other one is that we have not seen in the trailers. So you're on your own on that. But one that we have seen in the trailers is Corey Kenshin, which the line that is pretty much gonna be a meme at this point is, why do I always get the weirdos? And the answer to the question is because he's a YouTuber. Like, I would have said that, like, I'm pretty sure that the audience can agree with me on that being the answer. Corey Kenshin, why do I always get the weirdos? Five Nights at Freddy's fans, because you're a YouTuber. So, we can technically make that a meme. And and that's and of course another thing that I'm happy that's happened is that William Afton's last line was, "I always come back." So I'm pretty sure that we're gonna get Springtrap as the next antagonist for the movies for the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 movie if we end up getting it. Because and a good point that people brought up is that the movie's gonna have to do good first before we do a Five Nights at Freddy's 2. And I'm not gonna lie, the first, like the movie, was pretty good. It followed the lore, and it had a creative way to combine the first three games into one movie. And of course, there were some people that had complaints about the red eyes, and they say that they look stoned and made memes out of it to make fun of it. But that's not the only. But they kept it. But they kept it just for the end of the film. So yeah, but at least the yellow eyes worked out. I feel like that they've tried a bit too hard with the red eyes. Like, the normal light up eyes was enough for it to happen, and the fact that the mentioned kids being killed was like a mystery. We ended up that is something that is enjoyable. And of course, with how I've heard people say that Blumhouse makes good horror films, I am honestly gonna have to agree with them, because I'm honestly enjoying because the first Blumhouse film I've watched was The Purge, and that was a pretty good film. And the Five Nights at Freddy's fan base has been done justice with an enjoyable Five Nights at Freddy's movie, at least in my opinion. And I am looking forward to Five Nights at Freddy's 2 for if they end up doing it. So, yeah. And of course, the dialogue in the movie was pretty much on point, and there were some parts that we did have a good laugh at. And of course, the fact that we had some good cameos, it was pretty good. And of course, Markiplier didn't tune didn't make it into the first Five Nights at Freddy's movie because he was busy with Iron Lung, which honestly I do not blame him for it. Like, if I was busy with my own projects, then I would refuse to be in other projects so that I don't stress myself out. And of course, it is nothing personal against those who take it seriously. So, yeah. And of course, we're going to do 3 versions of a rating, which we're going to do amount of stars, a scale of 1 to 10, and a grade. And what I mean by a grade is a percentage of a rating. Pretty much, so think of this as like a moist critical review of a show, movie, or game, okay? So, for stars, I'm gonna have to give it 5. And on a scale of 1 to 10, it is a 9.7 out of 10. Because the mentions that I made are actually pretty good. Like, everybody called it that Blumhouse was going to make Five Nights at Freddy's a good film because, like, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie was in good hands from when it was announced that Blumhouse was going to do it. And I am hoping, and something I think would be pretty cool is that if Halloween Horror Nights ends up doing another video game, what if they did a House of Five Nights at Freddy's as a way to celebrate its 10-year anniversary? I think that would be pretty sick. And another thing I do want to say is that if they ended up wanting to, like, they could maybe make Freddy Fazbear's Pizza food a thing to, like, for people to order at Halloween Horror Nights, as long as, but if you were in the actual universe, like, there are some cases to where you can get sick from the pizza and they don't follow health code. But that's not what I'm trying to refer to for the idea of Five Nights at Freddy's food at Halloween Horror Nights. And for a percentage for a rating, it's pretty much 95. Like, it's honestly a pretty good horror film to watch, like, and of course, most movies and shows based off video games can be a 50-50 of good or shit, and of course, like, most of the time it's been in a shit show. Like, Arcane was pretty good. The first Sonic the Hedgehog movie was pretty good. The Super Mario Bros. Movie was just chef's kiss. And the fact that Super Mario and Five Nights at Freddy's was both done by Universal is what makes those movies pretty good. And I'm not gonna lie, at some point in the future, for when the Fantasy's Virtual Darkness universe is popular enough, I would love to make Investigator's Revenge a movie with Blumhouse. But for Undying, I'm not 100% sure exactly yet on what I want to do. So it's pretty much a only time will tell situation if we end up getting the Fantasy's Virtual Darkness series on that level of popularity. And yeah, that's pretty much all that I want to get out of the way really quick. I don't need this notepad anymore, so yeah, thank you for watching this video. Thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see some more content. And if you want to see gaming content, then subscribe to Crazy Fox 7051. If you want to see some IRL content, then subscribe to Jason J. And we'll see you fellas in the next video. Until next time.